Hey guys, welcome to Tiger Fitness Live. This is Steve Shaw, editorial director at tigerfitness.com. Give me some BCAs, 1 o'clock. Going to be here for about a half hour. Just a reminder, we got in Swoley, the post-workout amplifier. And if you've got to try Swoley, not Smoley, we're selling it out quickly. Let me get my shirt adjusted from doing that bicep shot. What's up, guys? Going to be doing a Q&A here for about a half an hour. If I miss your questions, post them up. News from the personal side of things. I'm going to be doing my first mud run this weekend, and in July 7th, I'm going to be doing an ultra, trying to get 30 miles. 30 miles. The beard is indeed CGI. I'm going to try to get 30 miles in 12 hours. The big, hairy, ugly dude is going to be rolling. All right. To lead in, I'm going to talk about the concept that diet is 90%, because we were talking about this at the Tiger Fitness group today, and it gets really heated. So I want to get some intelligent discussion going. And if you're not a part of the Tiger Fitness group on Facebook, come on over, check out the link, come on over, join the Tiger Fitness group. All right. So we hear diet is 90% a lot of the times, and someone was on a Tiger Fitness group saying, is diet 90%, or not, is diet 90%? They were talking about if macros or calories more important for building muscle. And I said the gym is more important for building muscle. And then we had a bodybuilder jump in and say, for bodybuilding, diet is 90%. And I would agree that for bodybuilding, diet is indeed 90%. But bodybuilding is a sport where you've already built muscle mass, and then you got to cut it down. So when somebody says diet is 90%, usually they're referring to getting shredding away the fat. But when it comes to building muscle, I tell people that the gym is 90%. And this triggers a lot of people, but hear me out. Is it really that difficult to take in 3,000 calories a day and 150 to 180 grams of protein? You don't need to micromanage your stuff to build muscle. You just need enough calories and protein and a good quality amount of healthy foods. You don't really even need that. You can eat pretty sloppy and gain muscle mass as long as your calories and protein are in check. So the question is it really hard to eat at maintenance or slightly above maintenance and get in your protein? Is that much more difficult than getting your squat to 450 pounds with good form over 3 to 4 years? I'm going to say no. I really don't think the eating part of building muscle is that difficult. We're talking strictly mass gaining. Is it really that difficult to eat at maintenance or above maintenance and get your protein in? No, not really. But you know what? When you go into the gym, there's a ton of guys and girls who really don't have a lot of muscle mass, and they're really not training as hard as they should be. They're really not giving it. They're doing a lot of stuff. They're moving, which is good for overall health. But if we're talking strictly mass gaining, you need to attack progressive overload wisely. You need to be able to evolve your training based on needs. You need to have a good exercise selection. You need to be consistent. And most people aren't, and most people don't have anywhere the mass levels of they're not even close to their natural potential. That's not from diet, because they're getting in enough calories. They're obviously not losing weight. They're getting enough protein because they're eating their protein powder. So in my opinion, you know what? Diet is not 90%. Lifting is 90%. The gym is 90% unless you're cutting for a bodybuilding contest. That's my opinion. Thank you very much. All right, guys, I'm going to be doing this Q&A for a half an hour. If you have any questions, fire it up. If I miss your questions, just yell really loudly, and I will respond. And I will be banning the silly trolls who have no game other than to call names. Usually the quality name calling is like you accusing me of being only 5'5", or other silly stuff like that, which I am only 5'5". Let's just get that out of the way. But I am taller than Alan Roberts by an inch. Is this how you tell typing? Look at the guys in prison. Diet is crap. Yeah, hey, they're getting enough calories, but are Crystal Lights and Diet Cokes okay on keto? I don't know. I don't do keto. As long as you're not getting your carbs in, yeah, everything's fine on keto. But yeah, you don't have to worry about that. I don't know. I really don't like keto. Don't get me started. Keto isn't really necessary for anybody. It doesn't burn fat any more than any other diet. Um, if you're going to be on, if you're going to be doing keto, why are you doing Crystal Light? Just put a little lemon up in that water or something. Just Diet Cokes and Crystal Lights and all that kind of stuff. Let's see. Look at guys. Fitness 253 says diet isn't 90%, it's like 95% plus. No, it's not, unless nutrition is not king, man. Come on now. That's nonsense. Most people don't lift as heavy as they could. Diet is only 90%. It's not that hard to get 3,000 calories in a day. You are strong, you lift heavy. Most people in the gym don't lift with your intensity. Come on now, you know that. You know that to be true. Protein bars. Protein bars, question mark. Yes, I approve of protein bars. I eat one a day, usually. That's my treat. Usually the complete cookie or a big 100 cookie crunch. What's your thoughts on glucose disposal agents? That is not my area of expertise, so I will not comment on that. But we do have some articles on that at Tiger Fitness. You can Google glucose disposal agents Tiger Fitness and it'll get you some good information, or post it up on Tiger Fitness group on Facebook, and Marc will be happy to answer that. Do you believe, let's see, AB Reyes says, do you believe in casein before bed or regular whey isolate? If you need some protein right before bed, I would probably go with the slower digesting casein. If you are, I like to have a casein around, because if you're going to go a long period of time in between meals, why not just choose a slower digesting? I see very few downsides for that. So let's see here. If I miss your question, post it up again. Wiffles waffles. That's a very good question. I don't know how to answer it, but let's see. Snake the Kid says, what is the biggest a 5'7" guy can get naturally? This is kind of my area of expertise. Natural muscle building potential. A 5'10" guy like me, and I'm a real 5'10" guy in real life, my natural potential is about, this is a guideline, not a rule, about 178 to 182 if I had no body fat. So let's just say around 180. Every inch below or above, you can add about 5 pounds, because that's about how much extra weight the body will carry. So at about 5'7", your natural potential is about 165 if you had zero fat on you. That'd be your everything else but fat in your body. So if you were at 200 pounds and 165 lean body mass natural potential, you'd be about 17.5% body fat, which would look pretty good. You could probably get a little bit more shredded, but if you got down to like 185, 190, 180, and you were at your natural potential, you would look absolutely incredible. Let's see. Do you ever feel like you're beating a dead horse when you hear the same questions over and over again? You know what, Seth? That's a good question, but I've been in lifting for 32 years, and one thing I have to understand is that everybody comes to me in different stages, and I can never get tired of answering the same question, because there are guys out there who are just starting out, who need the information and who don't know, who are asking the same questions over and over again. So part of being mature and respectful in what you do as a career is not getting angry at people for asking a question you've heard 1,000 times, because it might have been the first time they answered the question. Let's see here. If I miss your question, just why do you dislike keto? Because it's not necessary. It's not magical. It's not any better than any other diet, and it's really not a sustainable diet for 99% of people. It's just not. When I say sustainable, it's sustainable in the short run, but most people aren't going to be eating keto when they're 60 or 70. So I like to encourage them to get on eating lifestyles that are maintainable and sustainable. There's nothing wrong with keto. It works, but it's not any better than any other diet. So it's a lot of madness to go through just to lose weight when it's not any more effective than any other diet. Evan James says, assuming calories and sleep are adequate, what are your thoughts on people with physically active jobs plateauing on the big three lifts? I had a very physically active job before I got into writing. I was a machinist. I was lifting all day long. And really the key for me, and that's when I started getting into powerlifting, the key for me was eating a ton of good quality food and making sure I didn't try to train too much. I mean, I couldn't go after work and do an hour and a half workout, so I really had to think through my workouts and refine them and maybe pull back the volume a little bit, but make the sets count more. So you really have to think through it. I wouldn't overtrain when you have a physically active job. You got to get plenty of water, you got to get plenty of electrolytes, and you really have to make sure your calories or your diet is on point. Dustin says, what race are you doing on Saturday? I am doing the Black Swamp somewhere in upper Ohio. I think it's a Black Swamp run. It's an obstacle course run, 3.1 miles, like 26 obstacles. And then July 7th in Berkeley, West Virginia, I'm doing a 12-hour ultra, and I'm going to try to get 30 miles in. Let's see here. Joe or Below Joe says, how many grams of protein required for gains, grams per pound from cycling? I'm anywhere from 7 grams to 2 grams per pound. I'm a little bit confused, but when you're talking protein intake, most guys, a bare minimum, and these are not rules, these are guidelines, the bare minimum is about 150-ish, 160-ish grams per day. I like meat. I don't know about you, but I like meat. I like protons. I like to keep it at like 180 to 220 per day, regardless of where you're at or what you're doing. That's probably a good balance. It's not only the protein intake that we have to consider when we're looking at a diet, but it's also balance. Like some people will be like, there's never any need to eat more than 150 grams of protein a day. But you know what? If you were a hard gainer like me with a fast metabolism, when I was a young guy, like eating only 150 grams of protein a day meant I had to eat like a crap ton of carbs, and that kind of got old. So I wanted a little bit more meat. So you also have to consider dietary balance, and that's an important thing as well. Just enjoying your diet. So at minimum 150, 180 to 200. It's kind of where I like to keep things just because I like the protein. Let's see here. Robert Shanetsky, your name gives me fits. Robert is a writer here at TigerFitness.com. You should check out his articles at TigerFitness.com. Hockey Mike says, can I just do bench press and dumbbell bench to put strength and size on? Can you? Yes. Is it good for you? No, because you're just doing this type of pressing, horizontal pressing and vertical pressing, and you're creating imbalances which are not good for the shoulder girdle. You're going to get a lot of strength this way. You're going to get a lot of strength this way. You're not getting a lot of strength this way. You're not getting a lot of strength that way. So if you just want to do a bench press and an overhead press, you should also do a pull down and a row. You should do those 4 exercises if you just want to do pressing. That's your best bet if you just want to do a minimal upper body type of workout. And you should do legs. You just should do something for legs, because if you're in hockey, if you're in a sport, you need leg strength. Everything comes from the roots or your legs. So what's your take on veganism? My take on veganism is, the biggest thing I know from years in the industry is that a lot of people jump into veganism before they understand what it takes to be a vegan. And you really need to think through what the lifestyle change is going to be. You really need to learn how to cook. You really need to gather your resources, learn recipes, learn foods, learn how to find convenient food choices that are healthy. And make sure you're getting in all your micronutrients and protein. Any diet is good if it works for you, but if it is a challenge, and for a lot of vegans that come to me asking, what should I eat as a vegan? I'm like, I don't know, I'm not a vegan. There's many different ways to eat out there: pescatarian, vegan, vegetarian, lacto-avatarian, whatever all that kind of crazy madness is. whatever you're going to get into, you need to do your research before you just jump in. And sometimes there's this desire just to jump in the pool and completely sell out. It's okay to transition. It's okay to slowly transition into a lifestyle, and it kind of take 4 to 6 months to figure it out before you just sell out and try to figure out how to eat on the fly. So that's just something to consider as well. Let's see here. If I miss your question, please post it up again. Full body split tips. Steve, that's a good question. Steve Harvey. The biggest thing I learned on full body is that they're pretty good for beginners to late beginners, but as intermediates, as you start to build strength, that that you can spend more and more time in the gym. So my biggest tip for people that are doing full body is do a wide variety of exercises. Maybe do an HLM, a heavy, light, and moderate exercise for each body part. So for chest, it could be heavy bench press, light push-ups, moderate machine chest press. Do that kind of thing. Get some variety. Don't just do all compound movements. And when you start to build strength on a full body workout, as an intermediate, you're going to be living in the gym, and they can kind of become tedious. So you might want to consider an upper lower after you been out of after you built quite a bit of strength. I see Steve Harvey in the chat. Yes, Steve Harvey is up in the Tiger Fitness chat. The real Steve Harvey. Is it okay to have something sweet after a workout? Eric Freeman asks. Absolutely. I found myself, I would always crave something sweet after a workout. So for a very long time, my only real sugar was post-workout. I would eat something really sugary, like a cherry pie or a donut or a bunch of donuts or something. But that's when I had a fast metabolism. I always found that I craved sugar, sweets after a workout. So if you're craving it, don't go overboard, but I would have a little bit along with some protein. Let's see, let me just get rid of the trolls and the haters. Okay, goodbye. You're welcome, Steve Harvey. Let's see, Tiger Boy says the front part of my shoulders are in pain, the tendons in the front delt area. What exercises should I do to fix this problem? This happens a lot to me. Here's the thing, and you really need to maybe consider this, and then you also might need to go see a doctor. But a lot of people are bench press heavy. They're bench press heavy. They do a lot of pressing, and they also do some of this. The front delts are really heavily involved in the bench press. If you see a bodybuilder, a power lifter that's an older dude like me that spent a lot of time lifting, you'll see a lot of times you'll see overdeveloped front delts. Their front delts are really, really big. You have to, when moving forward and lifting in general, you need to consider balance. There's real 4 planes in the upper body you need to consider: the horizontal press, the horizontal pull or row, the vertical press, and the vertical row or pull down. You need to kind of balance those a little bit to build a good balance in your shoulder girdle, so you're not overdeveloping one or putting too much stress in one way and not enough stress on the other way. That's the first plan of attack, is I would seek to improve the balance in your programming. And if you are experiencing pain, you need to go see a doctor to help you get it figured out, and somebody that knows what they are doing. Steve Harvey says, I do a lot of bodyweight training. I actually do bodyweight every workout. I'm a big fan of it because, you know what, it just feels good to be in control of your body, and I try to find a way to work in it. Ryan Dooley says, recommendations on a 4-day training split. Ryan, I have a lot of free programs at tigerfitness.com. You can search 4-day workout Tiger Fitness, Google search that, and you'll find a ton of programs. I have probably 8 to 10 on there, and there's plenty of other ones on there, really good programs. So check it out. Brandon Childers says, I just had a post-workout fruit and Greek yogurt parfait. Sounds good. I'm a big fan of the Greek yogurt. Just splashed all over myself. That's what happens when you get old. All right, what do we got here? Thoughts on SARMs? No thoughts. Don't care. Don't care about that side of thing. This is a lifting and nutrition channel, and I don't really know. I really don't care about SARMs. Just a waste of money, in my opinion. Lean bulk or dirty bulk. I don't recommend anybody aggressively sloppy bulk with sloppy food. There's far too many good clean food options and healthy fats out there if you need to gain weight, but I don't want to see anybody gain weight aggressively. Weight gain should be slow and controlled in accordance with your strength progression. So not a big fan of the dirty bulk, not a big fan of eating sloppy foods. As a younger guy, your body can take a lot of punishment and it can mask a lot of punishment, both physical and dietary. And as you mature, that stuff will almost always catch up to you, even if you are in good health and you exercise. So take care of your body above all else. All right. Is 3 grams of creatine too little? Look, some people on creatine are easy responders and some are more challenge responders. I think I would recommend 5 grams a day. Pre-workouts generally don't have enough, so it's probably a good idea to toss down 5 grams first thing in the morning or post-workout. And look, creatine is studied, it's proven, it's inexpensive. You're not going to spend an arm and a leg on the most well-researched supplement in what we do. So everybody should, in my opinion, should have creatine in their gym bag. Take an extra 5 grams. I like 10 grams a day for most guys. Some guys won't notice anything, but for me, when I take 10 grams, I get some really good pumps. So I strongly recommend that. Let's see. Jared Jabbar, okay to take drop factor on an empty stomach before morning cardio? I do not see why not. It's just, some fat burning ingredients and a little bit of caffeine. In your opinion, do you think chicken can cause cancer? I don't know. Those chickens, they can be pretty sneaky, but I've never seen a chicken cause cancer. I think if you want, let's just be honest here and real. If you want to look at things that cause cancer, you probably have to look at imbalances in your diet that are unhealthy. Eating too much food, binge eating too much processed food. Yes, the ingredients in processed food in one thing of a processed food might not be a lot, but if you look at all the extra chemicals and additives and preservatives in a very processed diet, you're putting a lot of extra junk in cumulatively into your body, and that's probably a really bad thing. Binge eating is a really bad thing. Alcohol abuse is a really bad thing. Smoking is a really bad thing. We know the things that are generally really bad for our body. Eat healthy most of the time. Make good whole food choices. Exercise, and that's probably the best bet you can do to stave off cancer. But those evil chickens, they're not going to really get you. Pre-workouts when training fasted. That really comes down to the individual, and how caffeine sensitive you are. If you're training fasted and you take a lot of stims and you feel all wired or jacked up, that's probably a bad thing. So if you've never taken a pre-workout fasted before, I would probably only half scoop it just to be safe. Eric Freeman, is it okay to train if the muscle is still sore? Yes. And here's what we need to understand. And this is something you've probably not heard before, but this is my opinion. The fascia that surrounds a muscle is more sensitive as far as pain. There's a much higher degree of pain sensitivity in the fascia compared to a muscle tissue. I believe it's 5-1. It might be 8-1, but I believe it's 5-1. So when you are experiencing pain, from what I understand, the majority of what you're experiencing is fascia. It's not muscular. So what you're experiencing is fascia soreness. If you feel soreness, that's why when you train a different muscle group, like shoulders might feel less sore than legs, chest might feel more sore than biceps. That's usually fascia. That's not muscle. Because a lot of people think like, hey, this muscle didn't get sore, that muscle didn't get sore, it's because of my training. No, it's usually because of the fascia, because there's more pain sensitivity in the fascia around a muscle tissue. So if something is really sore, you need to heat it, you need to roll it out, you need to stretch it. I'm not a big fan of stretching before working out, but if you are sore, it's probably a really good idea to loosen up that fascia. Let's see. Dominic, I'm good on my diet 5 days out of the week, cheat on the weekends. Trying to lose 5 to 10 pounds throughout the week, and then I gain it back on a weekend. That's a good way to maintain a diet, Dominic, is to be really structured during the week and then be a little bit looser on the weekends. That's the way I do it to maintain, and it's pretty easy to maintain. But if you want to lose weight and still have more food flexibility on the weekends, it really comes down to you have to count calories on the weekend, and you have to really restrict your portions. If you're trying to lose weight, you can eat more freely on the weekends. You can have a few pieces of pizza, you can have a few beers, but you really need to make sure your calories are in check. There's no way around it. Let's see. Angel Rodriguez says, how do you know when you're getting too lean? When you turn sideways and you disappear in the mirror. First, you have to ask yourself, what is too lean? What is too lean? Too lean would be unhealthy. Now, I know from a scientific standpoint that we know that overweight individuals, from a BMI standpoint, and not obese, but slightly overweight individuals tend to live a little bit longer, and this is from research, than normal BMI individuals. So this is a debatable point, and science is still trying to unearth what this means. But if you are normal BMI or slightly overweight BMI, that's a healthy body weight. If you are under the normal BMI, then that would probably be too lean. Now, you might be able to see your six-pack, and you might be really healthy. Science is a blanket when it comes to BMI. It can give us generalizations. If you are under normal weight BMI, but you're really healthy and really fit, you're probably going to live longer. But for the average individual, if you're not very active and not eating healthy, you don't want to be under normal BMI. But there's really no such thing as being too lean unless you're starving yourself of food and micronutrients and you just look frail and like crap. What's the point of being frail in life? What's the point of being weak? You want to be strong and you want to look good as well. So just don't starve yourself. Don't starve yourself. Evan James said, what are your thoughts on people who say working out longer than 45 to 60 minutes is wasting time? I say, Evan, honestly, they're idiots. This is really nonsense advice. They're majoring in the minors. It's just foolishness. I've lifted 90 minutes, 75 to 90 minutes my entire life. Don't worry about that kind of stuff. Worry about making every set count. Worry about good exercise selection. Worry about consistency. Worry about progressive overload. Don't live in the gym. Make the sets count. Do the work you need to do and get out. Don't worry about the clock. Don't overwork. Don't overwork. It's better to do a quality amount of work than to overwork in the gym. Over the long run, if you want to be lifting in your 60s and 70s, you want to stay about a reasonable volume. You don't want to continue to beat yourself down with resistance training, like punishment, because it will catch up to you in your 40s and 50s. So just stay reasonable. MTS needs a big, hairy, ugly dude energy drink. My energy drink is usually BCAAs and a shot of my favorite pre-workout mixed in. That's my cheap and ghetto BCAA. Blow Joe says, from high intensity workouts using good form, 30 seconds, I get in and get out. Yeah, rest pause is a good way to build muscle. Ryan Simon says, I have a really thick waist and store all my fat there. Most of my other body is pretty shredded, but overall physique looks like crap at the end of the day. Should I cut or bulk? That depends on how much muscle mass you have and how proficient you are at building muscle. If you know how to build muscle, Ryan, and you've built a quality amount of muscle mass, then you'll be able to cut successfully without losing a lot of muscle. Now, I will say, if you have a lot of belly fat, that's a bad thing from a health standpoint. But here's the issue. A lot of skinny guys think they have a lot of belly fat when they're really just 165 and they got this little poo-poo sticking out, this little poo-poo, and it's not really belly fat at all. They just have this warped opinion of what they look like. If you're a big guy, 230, 240, 250, and you have belly fat, then it's time to lose the belly fat. If you're a 160, 170 pound guy and you see this little tiny little pouch and you call that belly fat, then no, you don't need to cut. What you need is to build some muscle mass. That's what you need. All right, guys, I'm going to try to answer as many questions as I can. We're at about the 30-minute mark, so if you have any more questions, please shoot them up and I'll get them. I'll try to answer them. Angel Reyes says, do you need to tighten your abs to lose lower body fat? My upper body is much tighter. Do you need to tighten your abs to lose lower body fat? The only thing you need to do to lose body fat is to be in a calorie restriction. That's it. What are your thoughts on Vince Gironda's 8x8? I don't mind those types of workouts. You probably want to keep, they can be long if you don't keep the rest in between sets to a reasonable amount. So I would not do more than a minute to 2 minutes in between sets. But you know what? If you're going to do that type of a workout, I like to do some exercise variation. So you might do an 8x8 on bench press 1 week. You might do an 8x8 on machine chest press the next week, just to get in a little bit of variety. It can get boring, it can get tedious, and I don't like to overwork the big compound movements week in and week out. So that's one thing I would consider, is swapping out exercises week in and week out. Eric Freeman says, is there any exercise for underarm fat up around the armpit? Nope. The only thing you can change up here is to make your chest bigger, and your chest runs up here. Make your delts bigger. That'll tighten this area. Or you can lose body fat. So you can get your chesticles bigger, you can get your shoulders bigger, or you can lose body fat. That's really all you could do to tighten up that area. Mark Morrison, what's your thoughts on loads of potatoes, and mac and cheese if you want to bulk? I don't care what you want to do. I just don't want you to bulk aggressively and get fat, because you need to stay relatively lean for health reasons and for longevity reasons. You can eat whatever you want. Potatoes are fine. A little bit of mac and cheese is fine. I'd rather see you eat potatoes and a lot of mac and cheese. But as long as your calories are in check and as long as you're not trying to gain weight too rapidly, you're all good. Let me get a little bit of drink here. I'm going to keep going as long as you guys got questions. Snake the Kid said, my girlfriend has been lifting with me for about 2 weeks. After 3 weeks, she stopped coming. Oh, you got to get rid of her. You got to get rid of your girlfriend. I mean, I'm serious, man. I mean, I'm dead serious. You got to get rid of your girlfriend. All right, seriously. After 3 weeks, she stopped coming. Do you think there's a way I can get her to start coming with me again? Probably, if you tell her you found a girl that wants to come to the gym. But ultimately, look, you have to, in life, you have to find partners that have things that, things that you enjoy. If going to the gym's important and you're with somebody that doesn't want to be active, you could try find ways outside of the gym to be active with them. But if they don't want to be active and you think, like, I'm going to be a gym guy for life, you really have to ask yourself, is this the right person for me? She could be quite nice, she could be quite lovely, but you know what? Maybe you need somebody that wants to be a little bit more active. So take care of yourself in that way too. See, T. Grunhus. I probably messed it up really bad. Do you weigh sweet potatoes before putting them in the oven? I don't weigh anything. You don't need to do that sort of stuff unless you're cutting for a bodybuilding contest. And then I would weigh it dry weight. So that's, if it loses anything in the oven, it's just going to be water weight. Let's see. Armpit Joe says, been watching a long time. I would 100% listen to your advice. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Big and strong, and I want to drop weight for overall health and feeling better. What's your best advice to maintain? The best advice to maintain weight is, for me, you have to allow a degree of flexibility, because life is about balance. And some people try to get super restrictive and then they never allow themselves a little bit of freedom, and then they go overboard when they have something. I am super strict during the week. On the weekends, I allow a little bit of flexibility, but when I have pizza, I limit myself to like 2 or 3 pieces. I restrict the bad food choices. I taste them. I don't overeat them. I just have a little bit of them. I don't allow myself to binge eat. So if you're looking to maintain, you can allow yourself a little bit of flexibility, but you need to learn how to control the binge eating and you need to learn not to overeat the bad foods. Try one piece of pizza, try two pieces of pizza, try a bite of the cheesecake, but don't overeat that. Don't overeat that. That's the best. Let's see. Let's see what else we got here. Michael Garcia said, "What's the perfect supplement stack that is need for building muscle? Like what I take if I'm 170 and want to get up to 200." Matthew, if you are 170 and want to get up to 200, you got to understand that you should do that over a period of 2 years. A slow, sustained, clean bulk that is focusing mostly on clean, whole foods, that is very protein rich, slightly above your maintenance level. And you want to get your protein in first and foremost. You want to get in your protein. If you can't get in your protein, then you need to add some protein powder, and that'll help you get 25 to 50 grams extra a day. And that's your best bet. If you're running low on energy, you want to use a pre-workout. If you need some fats, toss in some fish oil. If you hate fruits and veggies, try some machine green. But that's really, your base is really protein. Your base is really diet. So I hope that helps. Let's see here. All right, guys, I got time for one or two more questions. If you have any more questions, shoot them up. Annabelle Dickerson says diet is 100% plus. Diet is about 5%. Nobody really struggles to eat enough food. It just really comes down to food choices, and it's not really that challenging to eat vegetables or get in your calories. But not a lot of people are strong enough to build muscle. So diet is about 5% of the whole thing. Joshua Brent now says, how can I eat clean in college? The only thing healthy they have is salad. Are you talking from the food bar, or are you talking from just life in general? My best advice, and this comes from somebody that struggled in college, is eggs and rice. Eggs and rice. You can't rely on that college cafeteria. You can get humongous bags of rice for cheap. You can get a lot of eggs for cheap. And I mix eggs and rice with whatever cheap veggies I find at the store. And, that's really the best you can do. Just look for bulk foods and try to get some micronutrients. If you're going to rely on the college cafeteria, you're going to have to go for the meats. You're going to have to go for the veggies and eat as much of them as you can and just scrape off all the nastiness. What's your best way to break through a bulking plateau? You mean trying to gain weight? The best way is to find creative ways to add more calories to your existing diet. Like if you're taking a protein shake, you can get heavy cream from the store, add an ounce or two into a protein shake, boom, you got 300 more calories. On your meals, you can add a little bit of cheese, you can add a little bit of sour cream. You can find the easiest way to break through a plateau where you're not gaining weight is to find fatty foods, a little bit of fatty foods. You don't need a lot. But if you add an ounce or two of heavy cream a day, a little bit of cheese to meals, a little bit of sour cream to meals, boom, you're already up 500 calories and you don't really have to spend that much more money. All right, guys, this has been the Tiger Fitness Live Q&A. Marc should be back on Thursday, I believe. He will be back from Australia. If not, I'll be here on Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. If I missed your question, head over to the Tiger Fitness group. You can check out the link below to the Tiger Fitness group and just come on, join us. Ask your questions over there. I'm constantly monitoring that channel and we would love to help. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Have a great day.